Hey up everybody, and welcome back to Velogames, where today we're talking about the Fleche Wallonne, which is on Wednesday. And we're back in our regular setting. We're back home after our week's holiday. So, first off, the Fleche Wallonne. It's a really steep race at the end. The Muur de Huy, that's generally where things are going to go down. Will a break make it? Probably not. It's a very small chance, but we'll talk about the chances of that a bit later on. So as you can see on screen right now, this is what team I went with for Amstel. It was okay, but I'm looking to really come back and hopefully do a bit better next time in the Fleche on Wednesday. So going to try and make some really good selections here, and just aim for the highest possible placing we can. So this is what I've got at the moment. Pidcock, Roglic, Pogacar, Godou, Fingston and Gamper. The aim being that I've got 4 terrific riders there who could all finish in the top 10. You could go a bit different, and we'll show you that now. So my reasoning behind going with those 4 riders was Pogacar and Roglic looked great at Basque Country, especially on stage 3, which was a really steep finish. Godou was, again, really good at Basque Country and was okay on that steep finish as well. And then Pidcock has just been in really good form lately, so I'm going for people who have just got good form. That's generally a better way of doing it rather than banking off of somebody coming in and peaking really good for this race, because more than likely people are peaking for the Fleche and not this race. So let's talk about another option. Let's say you want Alaphilippe, because let's face it, Alaphilippe is one of the big favourites for this race. My only thing with Alaphilippe is that he didn't look great at Amstel, and therefore this is a bit of a risk to put so many points into him. But of course, if you wanted to do that, you could just take off. You could go exactly like I've got right here, except you don't have David Godou. You go with a 6-pointer. That 6-pointer is completely up to you. But if I were you, I'd be going with Jonas Vingegaard again. I know I suggested him for Amstel, but by all means go for him again. Another one would be Ben Tullet for Alpecin Fenix. He came in that front group. Really good, young, promising British rider. I think that he could definitely finish quite high up in the Fleche. So I'd be going for Ben Tullet or Jonas Vingegaard, and you could go for a team like that. In my opinion, these are the best 2 4-pointers just because of assist points. If you wanted to go for somebody in terms of placing, go for Sylvain Monique, the Lotto Soudal rider. He's down here somewhere. There he is, Sylvain Monique. Alternatively, pick some guys for a breakaway. Honestly, your guess is as good as mine when it comes to that. If you're not too fussed about Alaphilippe, but like maybe you're like, okay, but I'm not sure about Tadej. What should I do here? But I still want Pidcock in my team here. So then you have 6 extra points. Overall, I'm not a massive fan of like the 12-pointers here, but Mauri van Zevenant for 10 looks really good at Amstel, so I'll be suggesting him. You could go with this team setup here, which is really nice as well. Just in my opinion, the 10-pointers other than him probably aren't as good. I've just flicked through all of them there. I'm not particularly drawn to any of them. 12-pointers, very similar. Of course, there's the De Koning guys there, but I'd be favouring Van Zevenant for 10 over any of those guys there. 14-pointers, again, nobody really catching my eye there. 16-pointers, I've been going Wellens, Madouas, Conrad, Godou, and that's about it really. 18-pointers, not really, maybe Guillaume Martin. 20-pointers, Connefoy. Connefoy looks really good for Brabant Sipel, so let's create a team with perhaps him, and let's say, no Alaphilippe. We didn't want Alaphilippe in there. Let's go with that. You have then saved 12 points. Let's think, what could you go with? So let's say Van Zevenant, you don't have Van Zevenant on, you pick another random 4-pointer. You have another 18 points here, so you could go, I'm thinking based off recent performances, Kwiatkowski's quite a good pick as well. And just you could pick him or Roglic. I'd be favouring it's difficult to say. I'm not really going to say either of them, but probably don't pick Fuglsang. Let's say, Kwiatkowski. The problem that Ineos have is that they have Pidcock, Yates, and Kwiatkowski, and like Carapaz, and Teo Gegenhardt, and realistically, it's probably going to be Kwiatkowski or Pidcock, especially since Pidcock isn't doing Liège-Bastogne-Liège. He's doing, this is his final Ardennes race, and I think that based off of current form, that's the most important guide to be following. So Pidcock is more than likely going to be Ineos' guy, which makes me think that Kwiatkowski is going to be used as either like a last man. Don't get me wrong, I think that as a last man he'll probably be setting pace up the Muur de Huy, so he'll probably finish quite high up anyway. I'd say a top 10, but do you want just a top 10 when you consider that Roglic could be finishing higher up than Kwiatkowski for the same amount of points? I'd say your better bet is Roglic because he is the team leader for this team, for Jumbo-Visma. Of course, you are just a smidge over right now with both of those, so I'd pick a 24-pointer, and I think the best one is Schachmann, based off of current form. You could go Matthews. He has done well in this race in the past, but he's not going to win. Matthews will probably get a top 10, more than likely. He has done that in the past, but he's not going to win. He lacks that. He's good at climbing, and he'll set a good high intensity pace to keep up with the guys, but he won't be able to follow that acceleration. Schachmann definitely could. So you could go with Connefroy, Schachmann, Pidcock, Roglic, and 2 4-pointers of your choice. That's within the budget. Again, that's 4 riders who could certainly finish all in the top 10. Your disadvantage there is that you don't have Pogacar. For some reason, whenever Roglic and Pogacar are in the same race, they seem really intent on beating each other, so that'll bring out the best in both of them. So if you wanted, I think that picking Roglic and Pogacar is a very safe bet, and I think that's a good strategy to go with. And then filling out Pidcock and then whichever rider so fits into your team at that point. It was Go-Do at that first example. Alternatively, what I've done is I'll swap around here, and instead of going with Go-Do and Pogacar, I'm instead gone with Schachmann and Connefroy. It's up to you whether you think who's going to do better there. If I had to give you my honest opinion, I'd say that Go-Do is quite underpriced at 16, and that Pogacar might be a bit overpriced at 28. So, but I do believe that Pogacar could win this race, and that the steep climbs really suit him. The only issue is that he did Basque Country, and then he's had a break, and maybe he's coming back in and his legs aren't quite firing correctly, and he isn't quite as good as I think as I think he will be. Whereas the team that I've got on right now has the benefit of, we saw that Connefroy was really good at Blancpain-Sepel, Schachmann was good at Amstel, Pidcock was good at Amstel, and Roglic had a mechanical at Amstel, but at least he's had that race to get the legs going again. So I guess I'm kind of between those two. If I were you, I'd probably avoid Alaphilippe. I think that for 32, he didn't look absolutely nailed on perfect. You really want an Alaphilippe that is on super top form and is pretty much a guaranteed win. For 32, if you're thinking, I'm going to put Alaphilippe on because I'm a little bit scared of him, but realistically he might come on the podium, he might come 3rd, 5th. I think there are better riders who are going to score higher for you than Alaphilippe, and they'll be a lower cost. So riders who are cheap, who I think would do good for you, Go-Do, Connefroy. I think Pidcock's an absolute must on your team as well. So hopefully that was useful to some extent. Riders who I'd stay away from in general, probably stay away from Fuglsang. Hirschi didn't look great. Mike Woods has come back from injury. No Formolo, no Gilbert, no Carapaz, Ivan Garcia, Mohoric. Ulissi, stay away from those guys who are coming back from injury or working for others. Keep your masks on, stay safe.